Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Cameron.
Wow, I travelled so far just to be here.
Okay, so this week, I'm joined by Cameron, guys, for the brand new guest.
Brand new, yes.
It's just us two this week. I guess had to pull out last minute, unfortunately.
I mean, we did have Brad, but in typical Brad fashion.
Yeah, he decided rather than just being a mute on the podcast, he just wasn't going to show up.
He's had personal stuff. That's
no bad blood to Brad. He had some other stuff he had to deal with today, so totally understandable.
And we'll get him back on in a few weeks just to take the shit out of him.
I was going to say, make fun of him, basically, yeah.
Allison, I maintain Brad as a ghost.
Yes, exactly. And thank you, Charlotte, for subscribing. She's been subscribed for 9 months, which is fantastic. I think she's our number one subscriber.
This podcast is a baby.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh, gross. All right. Well, normally this is the bit where I do an intro and stuff, but
I've got an intro.
Yeah, all right. What do you got?
Kush Moose, what the hell?
What's he done this time?
He didn't realize that we were no longer RGS.
It's only been like half a year. Jesus Christ.
I like how the people in AH101 are just like, yeah, we just got like no idea what's going on the other side of the world. That's fine. You stay in there with your snakes and your spiders and your free people.
But yeah, this week we're going to talk a bit about NFTs, a bit more about acquisitions, some delays, some more general stuff about sort of video game reviews, and some film and TV stuff even. But first, Cameron's going to transition us to Song of the Week. Take it away, Cameron. I would join any session, message people constantly, even if it takes me ages to show how much I need to achieve. And I guess it's just the high ratio that brings out these tendencies. I know I can't do it by myself. I need someone to help me. I gotta boost the online. I gotta boost all the online. I gotta boost the online. I gotta boost all the online.
Very acceptable singing from yourself.
Yeah, I thought it actually turned out all right. Considering, again, I did it last minute as always.
I've got no idea.
I always get to like Thursday, Friday. I'm like, oh shit, I need to record a song.
You know what? On the trip up, Dad was playing like a lot of, I guess, older music. I was thinking we haven't done anything like Dire Straits or.
Well, I mean, this one probably fits into that realm, actually. Charlotte knows it, apparently. Yeah. Charlotte, what is it? Come on, tell us. Because Cameron obviously hasn't got a fucking clue.
No idea.
Oh, It's, I was pretty happy with how that one turned out. It was, it was a bit of a last-minute one. It does work a lot better with the music, but it's also one of my favorite bands.
Is it old-time songs from the 80s?
It's of that period, so 70s, 80s.
I feel like as a child, you were just given like those like hits of the 80s CDs constantly.
I wasn't really. I don't know. My parents were never big into music, which was kind of weird. And Charlotte is correct. There feels like the first time by Foreigner.
Okay.
It's the third Foreigner. It's the third Foreigner song that I've used since we're back in the RGS days.
Pick some Aussie songs.
Well, that's the thing is like I've thought about doing like Cold Chisel or like some Split Ends or Crowded House or stuff, but that's not really fun for the listeners because I mean a lot of our listeners are from outside of Australia. I mean Crowded House is probably okay, but
that's their problem. Like
yeah,
I mean at the same time like our musicians have to put up with spiders and snakes and all that just to be here.
That's true.
Actually,
and the Australian government. So
I wouldn't even imagine how much of a pain it is to be an Australian musician having to travel like between Perth and Melbourne in a day or Adelaide and Melbourne in a day doing that for a constant week with all the travel involved when you could just easily UK 5 spots and you're pretty much across the country in like 2 hours.
I mean, I guess, right? But at the end of the day, like, you know, when it comes to a show, you like a live show, you just show up and kind of do it, right? You have other people setting that shit up for you beforehand before you even touch down. Should be the way things happen. But yeah, so it was Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner, one of my favorite bands. Now this is normally the part where we would do an interview, but you know, you can't.
You could interview me. Where's your questions?
Yeah, all right, Cameron. I just have one question. What the fuck? Just in general. Like why? Like why? Why any of this?
God, there's like so many things I could say.
Exactly. Like there's more. That takes so many podcasts. But people have slowly discovered us over the episodes, from you know what they've gleaned, and from all the shit that we've done on RGS and the show as well. But
I mean, like at the end of the day, you've got the gamer score and I've got the games, I guess.
You've got the production.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like this thing.
Yeah, you've got the overlays. Yeah, I mean, hey, that works. You know, I'm happy.
Hey, I barely touched it this week. I've been away.
Barely touched it. Speaking of overlays, we've also got the we do the show on Twitch. If for some reason you don't know that, we do the show pretty much every week, and it's live on Fridays and Saturdays, basically on like a fortnightly schedule. So you can find us at Hall of Gamers Pod, is our Twitch address. Come hang out with us, talk in the chat. Charlotte, as usual, is here. We've got Ben from last week is in the chat as well.
I like how she like sent several messages. I'm not moderating this week. I'm not moderating this week.
No,
and
but
you're there, Charlotte. Like, what the fuck?
She just got bored, I guess. She's supposed to be on holiday, but you know, always working.
Wait,
all right. Well, I suppose we do it. Well, it fucking feels like work sometimes. We should probably get into the news.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every day, like every week lately, it's been like a lot of small stories.
Sure.
Except for one big fucking story we're going to talk about.
Of course, right? There's the news that everyone's talking about, which is we'll leave till the end. But what smaller stuff have you found for us this week?
All right. So the smallest thing that I found this week was It Takes Two as being either adapted into a TV or a film.
Okay.
And it makes sense.
I mean, it kind of does. My problem is the story is the weakest part of that game. Like, I hate the characters. I hate the narrative. It's just really, really like surface level. Like the joy of that, the interest of the game comes from the environments. I mean, like, I guess visuals, right? Like the visuals can carry a lot of a show. So I imagine there's quite a bit they could do with it. But I'm
just all for them saying it's a family friendly.
Yeah, right. Best family game. Yeah, right. It's
like just a family-friendly game, and then here we are tearing kids' toys limb by limb.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. It's
elephant in the chair, water torture.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I'd be like, I'm always, as you know, as our listeners will know, we're fine connoisseurs of video game adaptation media. So I'm sure this will end up on our plate at some stage, but. Yeah, you know, like, I mean, it kind of makes sense from a visual standpoint and from like a narrative structure. Like it has like, you know, like good stuff that you could split into episodes, or like it's the standard like 3-act story of a movie. But
the only problem I have with it is I feel like it's going to, if it's being delivered in a different medium, it's going to take away from the magic. Unless you have a really like creative individual behind it.
I guess so, but I guess like what, like how so? Like, what do you mean by magic as such? I know it's hard to define.
To me, the magic in It Takes Two, in particular, is like you're becoming accustomed with a certain mechanic, and then within like half an hour later, forget like magnets and rope or whatever you're doing with that. You're working on a completely different playing field. You're playing what feels like a roguelike now. Like, there's so many different genres and mechanics put into one game.
And A Way Out was like that as well, right? Like, it was like every now and then it would just throw, like, it was at the start, it was like, okay, it's like a, you know, stealth game, and then it was like, oh, hey, it's a, you know, on-rail shooter, and then it was a third-person shooter, and then it was like a, old boy simulator where you're beating your way down a hallway and like it turned into a brawler.
See, I feel like A Way Out would be a much better.
Yeah, I would agree, right? Because that structure works better, right? Because it has more of a narrative, more growth of the characters, and it's not quite as wacky and whimsical. But like again, like we don't know what kind of adaptation it would be, right? Like I suppose you could have like an episode based on the shed, one based on the tree, one based on the space stuff,
one based on the kid going to counseling after she discovers her elephant.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, who knows? But I'm not sure.
That is a good point. I also don't want to watch Bad Parenting.
Yeah,
that's particularly difficult for me.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. Like I think the story is the weakest part, so we'll see what it looks like. I mean, obviously he has like a view of that. Sorry, I can't remember the guy's name, but like I think maybe like something like Brothers might even be a more interesting adaptation, right? Where it's a bit more experimental and not so just like a traditional show.
See, I'm trying to picture it, but like with Brothers, because it lacks the voice acting.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, it would have to be like a short or something, or like like something a bit more like an experimental animation.
But I mean, like, it's got Pat Casey and Josh Miller, which are the screenwriters behind Sonic. So,
okay. So I mean,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Just them sliding in, fuck the Oscars as well.
Yeah. Right. Of course.
You're gonna have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's not really much other than that. I guess my only question for you is like, does it feel now in this day and age that video game adaptations are doing a lot better than what they did originally?
I mean, they'd have to, considering where they came from. I mean, like if you're talking about like back in the 90s, like we've talked a lot about this on Lights, Camera, and Action, right? Where we've gone, a lot of the stuff we've watched is older stuff to start with, and we've caught up with a few more recent titles. But video game movies back in the early 90s were like, they had their renaissance, like they had their big thing on stage where it was like they had Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter that made a lot of money. And there was a few here and there for like from that era, and then it was, yeah, exactly. And like Draggy in the chat points out, Uwe Boll isn't doing anything these days. Exactly right. Like you had that period in the middle where it was like you had like Doom and Uwe Boll and like Blood Rain and all these like kind of shit movies.
See, I quite like Doom.
Yeah, like it's like they're fine. They're fine for what they are, right? But they're not good movies. Like you wouldn't find them on anyone's IMDb list.
They're straight to DVD kind of.
Just about. I mean, like Resident Evil was the other one. Like obviously that was the big one for that era. And then we kind of moved past that after Resident Evil sort of spun down. And now we're kind of going back into a new one with things like The Witcher. And it's becoming more about TV series and like extended stuff where it's like less about like, hey, let's do a cash grab on this adaptation in a movie. It's like, no, actually, let's like do something with a bit of a narrative, and because people are interested. And part of that is because no one's going to movie theaters anymore. And part of that is like the rise of streaming makes this a more palatable thing where someone's going to binge a show. And people like, you have the extended universe thing where it's like, Marvel obviously is the big example, but also Star Wars as well, with all their shows and stuff are all, or they're all canon as such. And so The Witcher and I could see it. Like video games are really good for that because like they tend to be longer structure stuff, so they work better in TV.
Like I'm just trying to think of all the stuff that's upcoming. Like we've got Uncharted, which will be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, that looks pretty rough, but yeah.
I love Tom Holland, but I just don't think of Tom Holland and Nathan Drake. I think it should have been Nathan Fillion.
Well, yeah, he's too old for it now, but yeah, I mean, I would agree.
Yeah, I think they missed their opportunity. They should have done it like when Uncharted 4 came out, like 2016.
I mean, like it would have been good during like Uncharted 3 era, like like I mean, like a slightly older. But then again, like he probably would have played a pretty good Sully as well. But
I'm watching The Rookie at the moment, and I just love Nathan Fillion. Like any
he's great.
excuse to get him
in
there.
Yeah, I love Nathan Fillion. Yeah, I mean, whenever they revive Firefly, I'm sure he'll still be up for it because it's just the kind of things he loves.
Weren't they doing that? They were reviving Firefly, weren't they?
Not as far as I'm aware.
I need to double check that because I thought they were redoing it, not. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I would have heard of that, but it's possible. There's so much out there. I guess the thing with Uncharted, just before we move on, is that like the reason they picked Tom Holland is because they want a young talent that they can use for a lot of movies, right? They don't because it's taking long time to make movies. They want someone because that's kind of the big problem. That's why Tom Holland was Spider-Man, right? Because Marvel was like, okay, we want a young Spider-Man. We don't want a Tobey Maguire who's like in, he was like in his 30s, right? It was like, no, we want like a young Spider-Man so he can be in like all of these movies and we can just use him forever.
Does his own stunts.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah. I'm just going through like other upcoming movies. Like we've got Sonic Hedgehog 2, which I think.
Yeah, I'm sure
I mean, we love the first one. I'm sure it'll be great. Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that.
I mean,
it's got a lot of stars in it. Like, it'll be interesting to see how it pulls it off, but I'm not expecting much.
Yeah. The Division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is, I mean, Tom Clancy's stuff is
easily adaptable to.
It's already like a lot of his stuff has already been adapted, right? Like in the past, it's not like super.
What's that? Is it Jack
Reacher?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah. Minecraft the movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid apparently.
That's been in the works forever. I don't know if that'll ever actually. Yeah, that's been in like development hell for ages.
Five Nights at Freddy's, Splinter Cell, and Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah, I mean, Tomb Raider 2 has been in production for a while too, as well. I think.
Oh, Firewatch. Oh, okay,
Firewatch. Yeah.
All right, cool. A lot of stuff that's probably just stuck in development hell. Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, and then Shenmue.
Actually, Sleeping Dogs would be a very good one because that's Ubisoft,
well. The thing is, I mean, Sleeping Dogs is basically already based on Internal Affairs anyway. Like that's almost completing the loop because it's like because they made Internal Affairs and then they made The Departed based on that, and then basically they went back to Sleeping Dogs, which is based on both of those, and then turning that back into a movie just seems kind of like it's like the snake eating itself.
Is there Sleeping Dogs is Ubisoft? Yeah, I'm not mistaken.
No, Square Enix.
Oh, okay, forget about it then. Because I was thinking anything that Ubisoft has got as an IP at the moment, like
they're adapting everything.
Adaptations, but I think that's pretty much it for that story.
Dwaggy also points out there's a Shenmue movie being made that they announced, which is very strange, but sure, whatever.
We just gonna watch a guy drive around a forklift for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he goes, and then just someone go. Many years ago, I was Chinese. If you haven't played Shenmue, you really need to.
I do need to. See, this is the problem. Everybody keeps on suggesting games lately, and I'm just like, I really need to play that. Like, I had such an urge in the car the other day. Like, I need to go back to Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero.
I mean, you mean Phantom Pain?
No, Ground Zero is just the short one. Just
the short one. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a 6 to 8 hour completion.
Oh, if that, you could probably get done quicker than that. Yeah. It's really good. It's really, really good. I mean, I love Phantom Pain as well. Even though it has issues.
Like the only thing that worries me about Phantom Pain, like I've started it, but I just don't want to be doing like the grind for it.
It's a
longer game.
It is a longer game. There's a lot to it, and you do need to get S ranks on stuff and like redo like optional objectives and things. So like there's a bit too much like having to replay stuff. But I like the mechanics. Like it plays like one of the best games I've ever played. To be honest, it's probably the best. It's definitely the best Metal Gear in terms of how it plays.
Yeah, 20-hour
wise.
20-hour games are like kind of my thing at the moment.
Yeah, that's more of a 200-hour game.
Yeah.
So,
moving swiftly along. Team 17 was in the news. Did you hear about any of this stuff? Or
yes, I did. So I saw it on Twitter. So basically, they came out and said,
so you actually checked it.
Yes. So we're doing some NFT stuff, and for those who don't know, Team 17 are a publisher. They tend to publish sort of smaller to mid-sized indie games.
You've got like Worms. You've got
they did like Alien Breed, I think, back in the day.
Alien Breed. What's the one that's in Game Pass at the moment? Going Under.
Yes, right. So they have they've done like a lot of those sort of smaller projects that are still like quite like well polished, but like not like huge big developments.
Actually, Worms Battlegrounds, Overcooked 2, Worms WMD, Ukulele, Going Under. Because what's that? That's Aggro Crab, which is Going Under. What's the team behind Worms.
Yeah, so basically they came out and said that they were going to do these NFTs, and they had not talked to any of their developers that published with them, and basically a bunch of their developers were like...
Correction, they did talk to some of them. Some of them did tell them, no, we're not, like, absolutely not doing this. Yeah. You're going to get a media backlash. And then the other ones had absolutely no fucking idea.
Yeah. And so it went about as well as expected. And yeah, as Ray points out, yeah, Yooka-Laylee was published by Team 17. Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm saying as a publisher, yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about it in the capacity as a publisher mainly. They kind of just went over their heads and were like, hey, we're going to do NFT stuff. And a lot of the developers that work with them were like, this is the worst fucking idea I've ever heard, and I fucking hate you. And it's just the amazing picture of that crab that just...
All right, let's read some of... I love Aggro Crab's response to this. Like, yeah. I had terrible reception my whole trip up to the funeral. But then I was just checking Twitter whenever I could, like every second town.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Aggro Crab's one on the top of my Twitter. Weird Aggro Crab condemned Team 17's decision to produce and engage with NFTs. We believe NFTs cannot be environmentally friendly or useful and really are just an overall fucking grift. Please do not harass employees at Team 17 or the devs under their umbrella, as this decision seems to have taken everybody off guard and likely come from the very top. Needless to say, we will not be working with them on further titles and encourage other indie developers to do the same unless this decision is reversed. I fucking hate it here.
Yeah, I fucking hate it here, as Sigma Bless points out in the chat. It's just this perfect line for a developer just be like, I fucking hate it here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? I can respect that. That's great. That's the correct response.
Yep. Like, Aggro was not going to pull their punches. It's just like, I'm pretty sure SMG put out a statement as well. And then they also backed it up as well, saying that, hey, we want to take a look at ourselves and our actual environmental impacts, and we're not going to send all these cards to PAX and all these events that basically just end up in the trash.
Which is I mean, like, hey, that's less overhead for them to spend as well. But sure, like, whatever helps, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, again, they back down immediately.
Within 24 hours.
No one's surprised. Within 24 hours, they were like, oh fuck, this thing that everyone warned us would happen totally happened. Who could have foreseen this? So yeah, I mean, again, it's just another one of those fucking NFT backlash retractions. I mean, we saw it with the Ubisoft thing. We saw it with was it Ubisoft Quantum, whatever it was called. We saw it with Stalker. Like,
yeah,
fucking yeah.
The only fucking I had a realization last night, and I fucking hated myself for it. The only company that's actually going to be able to pull off NFTs is Nintendo. Yeah, and apparently they're
looking
at it.
Ubisoft Quartz, yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was, yeah, and like, of course,
the only one who will buy into NFTs are the Nintendo loyalists.
Well, that's not true, right? Because NFTs are already selling for some fucking... It's a pyramid scheme. So the trick is, if you're not at the top of the pyramid, you're fucked. And yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, like, Nintendo can't do anything right anyway. So them saying they're interested in NFTs means that they'll probably get them out in about 5 to 10 years when NFTs have been, made illegal around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm not, holding my breath. They can barely get an online store running.
And still, they're the best console seller.
Yeah, well,
that's the crazy thing.
They have their unique titles. They have their unique selling point. It works.
I can't get Pajama Sam on Xbox. I can get it on Switch now.
That's true. I haven't played it. Yeah, and then exactly. There was
Pajama Sam. Is that what you were going to say? You haven't played Pajama Sam?
I have not. But I haven't played anything on Switch in ages. So it's like,
Yeah, so pretty much, like, the only thing I was going to say is I felt so sorry for the community manager at Team 17. Like, I follow her personal account, and it was just like, yeah, I'm fucking looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, right, exactly, right.
I do like that everybody, like, with their posts put out, like, we also want to ask folks to be kind to voicing their concerns, because, like...
Yeah, like, those said death threats and shit. Like, that's like doesn't help anybody. I mean, obviously, voice your concerns about like this really shitty business practice that people are trying to push. But like,
best way to do it is just like, hey, I can't get behind what you guys are doing. Polite as pie.
Yeah,
leave it at that. The only other thing I was going to add on to this is I think Ubisoft this week was on in the news as well. And they're just really? Gamers just don't understand. We're still going to push on with the NFTs.
Yeah, this whole quartz thing. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my god! And it doesn't even look like it's good either. And like again, I'm not going to rehash all the NFT stuff, but if you want to hear about like why the NFT and the blockchain is a whole fucking scam, you can go find like there's an amazing video that I watched the other day about it. But I probably I'll post it in the Discord after this because it just like fucking it encapsulated just how incredibly deep this bullshit goes, especially on the like play to earn stuff that's infecting video games at the moment. It was very, very fascinating.
Yep. Do we want to dive into the big news?
Let's leave that for last.
Leave it for last? All right, cool. I was going to quickly say Granted got achievements this week.
Yeah, it fucking did, unfortunately. So again, there's not much we want to say about that except that, well, I mean, it's a game as a service, so I'm not fully surprised, but whatever.
Pretty much the only reason I wanted to put this in here is there's a few of us in the Discord that are like, all right, Brian5454 has...
He found Jesus, and then Jesus told him not to have an Xbox, so he doesn't play anymore. So he doesn't have his achievement world set up, so we're going to have to find some greener pastures, it looks like.
Yeah. So a few of us might see if we can set something up, and I imagine a few of us are just going to set up something quickly for the DLC, because a lot of people originally would have got the 1,000, like the 1K off Brian.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I certainly did.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to, like group together and we try and get something working between all of us, that would be great. But I mean, like, this is beside the point. Like, it's a fun game too.
Yeah, I mean, I hate survival games. Like, I have no interest in crafting or survival or managing meters or building stuff. Like, it has literally no appeal to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I mean,
Dwaggy has repeatedly been pointing out in the chat that Space Engineers has finally been fixed, apparently. It got its last achievement after a year of work has finally been fixed, so you can go and do it.
We should actually quickly mention too, massive shout out to like Vudix and Dwaggy for like all the games that have been fixed in the achievement fixes Discord.
Yeah, some really great stuff happening there, which you know, we all very much appreciate.
Just to go, Dwaggy in caps. It took us 9 months. Kwai, how do I pronounce it?
Kwai Ninja Rider.
Yeah, for bugging them seriously. Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's good. We should be seeing more of that. Hopefully.
I mean, what else has been fixed lately? We had Dead Cells. We had Cricket 22. I think Astria Ascending. Just a few off the top of my head. Dwaggy will fill us in. Drone Racing League Simulator.
Zombie Hill Racing.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Keep up the great work.
And then also Suicide Squad got delayed. I mean,
I'm not surprised.
Like, again, this is my surprise face, right? Like, fucking everything is getting delayed. I mean, like, when was the last time Rocksteady, right, put out a fucking game?
That is a good question.
It would have been, Arkham Knight, right? Which is what, 2013? No, maybe 2015.
Yeah, I'm trying to think without looking it up. What else they would have been doing?
Just, yeah, like, I don't know what else
they would have been. So long.
2050, yeah, 2015. So that's, yeah, Rocksteady. They did like a Batman VR thing in 2016, but yeah.
Oh yeah, VR counts.
Sure,
totally.
But yeah, right. But like, yeah, like they haven't put out a game in years. And we saw the trailer for this, and I remember like it was that and the other one that Warner Brothers Montreal's making. But then the other thing I guess maybe is like Warner Brothers is in kind of a weird spot at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because of the whole like AT&T thing, and like being merged with Discovery and the potential for being sold because AT&T's in a lot of debt.
And I'm sure somebody would have bought them out by now, but if Microsoft were to buy, they would be probably chasing the IP as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that like, yeah,
that's probably the gray
just because
area.
just because you buy the studio doesn't necessarily mean you have the IP, right? Because Warner Brothers obviously has the DC licensing, but yeah, which is also part of the reason why there's the talk about how NetherRealm are making Mortal Kombat 12 instead of a new Injustice game.
Yeah.
And the rumors are because that licensing is up in the air a little bit.
Well, the only thing they're doing with their what was that Smash clone they were doing with their IPs?
Oh yeah, that was something. Yeah, I can't even remember what that's called,
weird.
But I know the one. Yeah, with all the Warner Brothers stuff, Warner Brothers fighters. I'm sure we'll get a Microsoft one at some point.
I know, like I'm very interested to play Suicide Squad.
I mean, I went back and played a little bit of Arkham City recently, actually, because I have some DLC to do there. I lost my save file, which I'm very upset about.
I'll talk about this week too. Losing save files.
Yeah, not great, right? But yeah, like it's fine, but like I kind of feel like that kind of game is kind of done. Like that, like like and this looks like more of that. And like hopefully they could do some cool stuff with it with like the the 4 players and stuff, but that kind of combat is kind of we're kind of past it.
This is the thing though, like looking at just what's been shown, I don't know why, but I just get Guardians of the Galaxy stuck in my back of my head.
Well, I mean, it's got 4 players and that kind of stuff, I guess, but
then at the same time, like because of that mental image, I just think, well, maybe I shouldn't be too harsh, like too quick to judge it. Maybe I'll wait for a few reviews to drop. It turns out to be a massively great game with with a good story and like a few bugs here and there, but
I'm sure it'll be a good game. Like I'm like they haven't put out a bad game. Basically, all of the Batmans have been pretty good. I mean, there were some problems with Arkham Knight when it came out, right? It was in a pretty rough state, but they kind of got it where it needed to be
compared to the other ones, because
because like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are amazing games. Arkham Asylum is one of my favorite Metroidvanias ever.
I've only played a little bit. I need to go back to them.
It's really good. Like I like it's a bit more condensed, and it's not like they didn't just sort of blow it out like they did with Arkham City.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I'm not surprised. Everything's getting delayed. The other Batman game, Gotham Knights, got delayed as well. So who knows when that's showing up? Like it's just who knows what the fuck's coming out this year? Because I don't.
Should we have a quick look?
Yeah, as long as it's a quick one.
Coming out. We've got Avowed, don't we? Oh, is that 2023?
I don't know if that's been confirmed for this year.
Help us out in chat. Like off the top of my head, Starfield should be a definite.
Starfield is pretty solid for this year.
Redfall, I'm not too sure.
They said it's this year, but
apparently there's rumors about getting delayed. But it might sound like it's going to be later in the year as well.
Because they were looking like August for that, right?
We'll have Tunic next month, which I mean, there's like an
indie Tunic's great, but that's been in development for 100 years as well. I've seen it at like 5 E3s.
Plaguetale Requiem.
Yes, yeah. So
do we think that will?
I don't think that's going to make this year. We haven't seen gameplay of it yet, right? It's only been cinematic trailers.
Yeah, I can't really talk about Ahsoka because they do such a weird. They do so many different types, like flight sim to Plaguetale, like to kids' IPs. It's such strange. Stalker we already know is coming out December. Saints Row we haven't really heard anything else.
That's supposed to be this year, but that might make it. Actually, they probably need to get that out this year. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, is coming out this year.
Definitely.
Wolf Among Us 2 apparently.
Elden Ring.
Interesting. Elden Ring, obviously, that's the big one. That's coming out That's coming out like in a couple of days, right? That's pretty.
I was going to say, and Midnight Suns. I'm not sure about that one.
No idea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as always, like more things will get announced. As the I mean, it's only February, right? So there's plenty of time, but I imagine a lot of stuff's going to get delayed.
Yeah. Trying to think what else. Wolf Among Us season 2 apparently.
Yeah.
I very much doubt that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I've been looking forward to that for so long. Anyway, moving along. So Dying Light 2 came out.
It did, yeah.
And it's quite interesting because there's a few mixed reviews.
Yeah, people. I mean, again, we don't usually talk about like new release review stuff, but this one's kind of been one that we've been keeping an eye on with the 500 hours of content.
The good old marketing spin.
Yeah, right, and then the marketing backtrack immediately afterwards. I don't know. I mean,
it's like, wait, people don't want long games? No.
I mean, so are you planning on getting it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for my code.
Gotcha.
So I should hopefully be playing it by Monday. It's Friday now when we're recording this, so pretty much I'll probably get the code after the weekend. I've got Percy this weekend, so I'll wait till then.
Yeah.
I've been playing the original, so just to get myself back into it. It's interesting though, seeing such a diverse range of scores. Like there was one, which I think it was The Guardian, had like a 2 out of 5.
I mean, like that's not a great score, obviously, but Yeah,
I mean, like 3.5, and that is probably what I would expect for this stuff. Like most of them, like PC games, 6 out of 10, Loadout 8 out of 10, PC Gamer 84, Game Informer 9.5, IGN 7. It seems to be mostly like around the 7 with a few higher and a few lower.
Yeah, which is kind of what I was hoping for a little bit higher. Like I was hoping for like some 8s, right? I was hoping like that was kind of going to be where it's at. It was going to be like a solid game, with some good stuff, like not perfect by any means, but like a really solid entry. Where this sounds like it's a bit less than that.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, from social media, the general consensus is a game under an 80 is trash. Like, not unplayable.
Well, that's not just social media, right? That's just how it's always been. I remember like back in the early days of the internet comic industry, where it was like, during the console wars. I think it was like Control Alt Delete, or someone did a comic that was like, it was like, hey man, I think it was Aliens Colonial Marines. I remember,
yeah.
And it was like, oh man, this Aliens Colonial Marines game is like really bad. We like, maybe, we probably need to bust out some of the lower numbers for this. It's like, oh, so it's not like an 8? You don't want to put like a 7 on it or a 6? And he's like, no, we need to get the forbidden numbers. Because it's like, when the fuck did you ever see a game that got lower than a 6?
I mean,
it was never. I mean, like obviously there would be like ones that got like a 1. It was like Big Rigs, fucking,
I mean, I have seen 4s and 5s before, but I'm just trying to think which.
Like what major releases would you see? Like it just didn't happen, right? Like obviously every review outlet had its own scoring method, right? Where it was like 5 was mediocre for some, but like that should be the middle point. That's 2.5 stars, right? Yeah. But a 5 game is like that's trash.
Like I like the individuals that use stuff like recommended, highly recommended, not recommended.
Sure,
it gives a better indication of like.
I mean, yeah, like I remember like. The very first podcast I listened to that got me into podcasts was called NoobTube. And they, like, part of the reason they started was because they were tired of having, like big companies like GameSpot and IGN and stuff having their own podcasts and just, shilling out reviews and just giving trash scores. And they just did thumbs up, thumbs down. That was it. Yep. And they eventually adjusted to like thumbs up, like rental, thumbs up, like buy, like kind of just, with a bit more nuance. Yeah. But like that was it. It was like, and like, I kind of respect that. I understand why review scores were a thing, right? But like kind of a thing in the past, for the most part, they exist still because Metacritic is still a very important part of the industry as a whole. Especially when it comes to metrics for bonuses. I remember what it was. What was it? Fallout New Vegas. Yep. Obsidian missed out on bonuses. Like the developers missed out on bonuses because they got a 79 instead of an 80 on Metacritic, right? That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And it kind of got out of hand, and like I don't know how much of that actually happens anymore, right? That was a long time ago.
But I mean, realistically, in this kind of industry, it should be based on units you're pushing.
At the end of the day, sales, right? But yeah, like I just. The game itself apparently seems like the word is they took out all of the story, like the sort of interesting story stuff that they would that was the big thing they were touting, right? From what
I've read, it's essentially the same as it's the Dying Light 1 problem. They have a really neat parkour system, really neat combat. The gameplay, the gameplay part of it is amazing, which I'm always going to be for the gameplay.
Sure.
Story.
I understand that.
Story is trash. Story is very predictable. Story's like 1.
Yeah, right. Which is, I think it's very much the sequel to its original game. Which, like, when they were pitching this, I remember when they came out and said, "Oh, there's going to be like narrative choice, and your choices are going to change the world." And it's like,
they removed that.
Yeah, like they took all of that out. They were like, "Oh, just like so that brings up the question: where the fuck does this 500 hours of content come from then? If you've taken out everything that's like that changes the world and makes the game different, like man, there must be a lot of filler content in this game. Holy shit!
See, I'm hoping it isn't the case of just like repetitive stuff. Like Dying Light 1, I've been playing quite a bit, and it doesn't feel like I'm having that much fun, like using the parkour, using the combat. Met like a random 12 the other day that dropped me like every great weapon in the game, which is just
that helps.
Beautiful. Especially when your save file gets corrupted to get back up to there. yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm still really hyped for Dying Light 2, but I'm hyped for the gameplay. I'm not hyped for the story.
Sure.
Essentially, from what I've read of the reviews, it's like you may as well spend 100 hours with the main character and not even remember what his face looks like.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Which is again exactly like the first one.
Yeah.
So
there's like one character in there that's like really memorable, and everybody else is like filler.
Yeah. I mean, hey, this is still Techland making this, right?
Yeah.
So again, they basically haven't learned anything from Dead Island.
This is the other thing with Techland too. They're really bad at putting out games at launch, and then just they fix all their bugs. Like they're really good at fixing bugs after the fact. And then like that day one patch, 1,000 bug fixes.
Well, yeah, I still have issues with how that works, but yes, like in theory, yes, that's good.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like a reviewer's working off essentially.
And basically, I think reviewers were told not to play co-op until release date because essentially it wasn't ready.
And the other thing I quickly want to point out too, because it actually pissed me off. What is the point of doing a 2-tiered system embargo on a code?
It doesn't. Yeah,
all right, cool. Let's let all the major publications get their stuff out first, so they get all the attention, and then the smaller content creators, let's not worry about them as much.
Yeah, of course, that's how it is.
I would much rather watch the smaller content creator that's been doing zombie-related video games for the last.
Sure, I agree, but the thing is that the larger content publishers
is going to get the.
They have the marketing dollars to pay for that stuff, and they also get the and they're the ones who get on Metacritic. And again, like we said, that's the important part.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It just frustrates me.
I know.
I'm for the little guy.
Like us.
Yes, like us. If you want to support this podcast, you can support us on Patreon. I'll show later. Later. It's fine.
We'll get into the show.
Let's get down to the meat and potatoes.
I'm starving. I am actually very hungry. I actually need to eat up.
Why didn't you eat before this?
I did. Well, I had like a late lunch, so I thought I'd be okay. But like it's like 9 o'clock.
Go eat. I'll talk for like half an hour.
I'm gonna order some KFC or something. It's fine.
All right, cool.
Okay,
not sponsored.
So yeah, okay, so not nondescript chicken, nondescript fried chicken. All right, so Sony bought Bungie. Well, is acquiring Bungie in a $3.6 billion deal. Which is ridiculous.
This means that Halo is coming out on PlayStation now, right?
Oh my fucking god! Yeah.
Every time I open Twitter this week, it's just like, oh my god, we're getting a Halo Master Chief Collection on Sony, like on PlayStation. I'm like. I don't know if you're trolling right now. But if you're not trolling.
I hope they're trolling. I fucking hope it.
There's some of them that are just like, I don't know.
Again, this has kind of been beaten to death, but like again, what do you think?
I'm not. See, I'm conflicted. I'm not really concerned because I mean, like Halo's not going anywhere. Destiny 2 is still going to be multi-platform and it's still going to be supported.
Yep. They've come out and said that that Sony intends to keep it multi-platform.
Problem is, it is the very, hey, we got our lawyers to check over this 10 times before we put out this statement kind of statement.
Yes. Yeah.
I would not be surprised about Destiny 1 closures in, I guess, like 2 years' time because like. A 10-year plan, Destiny 1's eventually going to go down. I'm going to predict 2023 September or 2024 September is going to be.
The 361's been shut down already?
No,
it's still going.
I would imagine 10-year plan for both 360 and the 1. Destiny 2 is still getting content. It's getting the Witch Queen expansion on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
On the other side, they've started vaulting the old content, right? So it's kind of an interesting thing where it's like maybe they do a next gen version that's going to be like on the for the PS5 or I don't know.
I don't know because like they could have gone a number of ways with it. They could have said, all right, well, Destiny 2 is going to be a Sony exclusive. It's going to be purely in PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
That would have pissed off a lot of people. And the last thing you want to be doing with something like that is dividing the community.
Especially when it's a games as a service. Yeah. And
especially when you're making $500 million off it a year.
Exactly, microtransactions. And the other bit with that is they just got done using all the crossplay stuff. They put all of that work into that to get that up and running across PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. There's no way they're going to cut that off after all that. Like, that's just would be a huge waste of money on their part.
The thing I find the most interesting, on average, they're spending $1 million per individual to retain them.
$1 million.
$1 million per individual. That's the rumor going around at the moment.
That's insane. I mean, well, okay, it's somewhat insane.
To keep that talent, though. And you got to think, though, that's on average. You're going to have your higher, like, head
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah.
But if you're spending that kind of money to keep people retained, like
$3.6 billion is a lot of money. I mean, obviously, like, it gets eclipsed by the Activision news, but like, that's even separate from that. Obviously, this has been in the works for a while.
This apparently has been in the works for the last 5 months, and apparently Bungie approached Microsoft beforehand, asking if they would acquire them, and they thought it was too much of a bad deal.
They thought, too expensive. Too expensive, yeah. Which I actually like, and like I think some analysts have come out, like Michael Pachter, has come out and basically said that Sony way overpaid for these guys.
Yeah. But like at the same time, Sony needs to be buying studios.
Yeah, like it's acquisition season. And
it's my favorite term because I've heard it for like the last 18 months. Is acquisition.
It's true. It's fucking true. Like it's the you know, interest rates are low for borrowing money, and it's like the with inflation going up, the money's going to be worth less in a year.
We haven't even talked about Wordle being acquired by
New York Times for a low 7 figures, so $1 million in bid or something.
For something that a guy made for his partner, though, just to have something to do.
Yeah.
And then to sell it for 7 figures.
He's cashed out and he's done well. I'm happy for the guy.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm sure that'll go to shit immediately, which I'm sure he's probably he cashed out at exactly the right time before it loses popularity.
Before it gets put behind a paywall or...
Exactly. That was like, well, as much as New York Times is just going to kill it faster than it was going to die anyway. So, so I guess, I guess I kind of can feel like they're overpaid. I mean,
I mean, like, there's a few other things I could touch base on with this as well. Sony also announced that they're working on 10, like as a service games, which is what technically Sony's missing. Like Sony does the first party, sort of your sort of big marquee narrative, single player, Like the whole narrative on that side is essentially like we smash out these like blockbuster hits that, you know, achieve like a massive scores, like that you're not going to get on the other consoles.
Yeah, like well reviewed, well rounded, like very very popular. You know, game of the year contenders.
Yeah. But their third parties are doing all the heavy lifting for, like, essentially, like Destiny 2. Like, having their stuff. Sure, it's great to have a PlayStation 5 to play, like, God of War. But then, what are you going to do with it after? Like, unless you got COD, but...
Like, well, yeah.
I mean, like it depends, really, on the future. Like, it's strange thinking about how things are going to be 5 years down the track. We're already at the point where stuff like MLB The Show...
It's going to be on Game Pass day one, yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be a recurring thing.
I guess that's the thing, right? Because it was PlayStation had the exclusives, and then they had good third-party support, like both consoles did, right? Like EA and Ubisoft and Activision would come in with their big titles to sort of round out the library. And that was why Microsoft was always getting the shaft, because they were like, hey, you know, you have the same games on both consoles, but the PlayStation also has the exclusive and you guys don't have them.
Yeah.
The thing is that third parties have shit the bed. And it's like, you know, like Microsoft have gone like, well, we're going to go all in on Game Pass and get smaller or medium-sized stuff, do acquisitions, and like do deals to get this stuff on here, so we have constant flow of content coming onto the service.
It's interesting reading about that too, because like even I'm trying to think what site put it out today, but they had the stuff about Phil Spencer winning the award.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, no, he got told like no so many times, but he's just like pushing for Game Pass. Like, how do we make this happen? How do we make this a sure thing?
Yeah, Netflix video games has been pitched for ages, right? And we all talked about it like being not financially viable. And it's fucking not. They're losing money on it hand over fist for now, at least, right? But it's worth it to grow the market in their eyes.
Like, even with the Xbox One generation, there was so many good ideas, but they just jumped the gun because the tech wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the support wasn't there, and then the need wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but going back to Destiny, I think that like because third parties have shit the bed in terms of like like shooters especially. And like Sony hasn't had those as many big marquee stuff because of delays in COVID. Acquiring something that's already going, that's already popular, that already makes a fair amount of cash, because usually it's like, okay, if you're going to buy something, you go and pay about 5 times its revenue. I believe it's a revenue I can't remember exactly. It was again, but back when I was at uni. Again, this might have changed. It's been a decade, and so it was like you look at the valuation. You would say, okay, what does this company make in 5 years? Yeah. That's pretty much what the valuation will be roughly, and anything above that is goodwill. Essentially, is that you're paying for intangible assets on top of that.
Yeah.
So if they make 500 million a year, that does not equal 3.6 billion, right? Like it's a good chunk, and like they obviously know they're going to be making money for it, but there's other stuff involved there. That there's value to the brand itself and value to those developers, and I'm sure they've got them locked in to stay on with Bungie for a certain period of time before they leave and make their own studios with this big payout, which is kind of exactly what happens.
Yeah, I know it's interesting to think of. Who do we think? What do we think is going to happen next in the acquisition space? Like,
it's like Microsoft acquiring a Japanese developer. Like they've been talking about it forever. It needs to happen. Who it's going to be, I have no idea. It could be a Capcom, but that might be too expensive. It could be. I don't think it'll be a Konami because Konami won't sell. It could be.
Konami just lets their IPs die.
Yeah, but like because they don't care because they make money elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
So it'll, maybe like I don't think it's a Square. I think Square is probably too big of a purchase.
I want to say Sega. I want to say.
I mean, Sega is probably the most likely, to be honest. Especially with what they've got under Creative Assembly, like that would work out well for them in the RTS space.
I just want RGG. That's all I want. RGG.
That'd be a big get for them, right? Like that would be like on the Warhammer side of things, especially. And then Atlas obviously as well.
I just thought of something.
Oh dear, what?
So what if they've had talks for like, let's just say talks were a few years back with Sega in regards to it. The Yakuza games hitting Game Pass.
Yeah.
Testing the waters.
Sure.
Having games like 2 Point Hospital.
Yeah.
Just testing the waters with that stuff in Game Pass just to see how well it tracks before they get acquired.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
I think Capcom would be like a better get in terms of the amount of IP they could bring.
Sure, yeah, because then you have Resident Evil and you have Monster Hunter. But the thing is, I think for that reason, I don't think they would go for it. I think it would probably be too expensive.
And I don't think they would do. I don't think. What is it? What's the support studio that works on Halo? Sun Affinity?
No,
we were talking about it last week.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be working on a Monster Hunter clone if they were going to acquire
a Monster Hunter game. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
That's why I feel like I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we could wake up like next Tuesday and Capcom's being purchased.
I mean, yeah, none of us predicted Activision, right? So who knows? Keo points out in chat that Sega publishes stuff, so Xbox might not buy others. I mean, that is true, right? Sega are mainly in the publishing business these days in terms of a lot of their IP. I mean, outside of like Sonic, right? But like, I mean, so was ZeniMax and so were Activision, right? Those were mainly publishers with studios under their belt, and they basically just acquired them. And I'm sure, like on the Activision side, they'll probably demolish most of the publishing side of stuff and just integrate that into Microsoft itself. But yeah, like I can see it, like Creative Assembly, Atlas would be a great get. Like there's a lot of good IP there that would really help branch out what Microsoft are missing. Kia also points out that Crystal Dynamics would be a good one to get to. Yeah, I would say like Crystal Dynamics would be a very good get, especially with the talk about them being.
Because you know what, I honestly feel though Square would try and sell off Crystal Dynamics to Microsoft just so they could get acquired by Sony.
Potentially. I mean, like again, the whole thing with like the IDOS stuff and the IO Interactive.
Where is Crystal Dynamics based?
I think they're in San Fran or LA.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, Perfect Dark, exactly. Yeah, right. They were helping work on that, right? So,
like, it makes sense being like local to the US. Yeah.
Yeah. So we again, Square is kind of a weird one. That would be an interesting acquisition, and it's probably a smart one. I don't know if it's the.
What IPs do you get with Square? You get
Final Fantasy is the big one.
Yeah, Final Fantasy. You get Kingdom Hearts. You get
Dragon Quest.
Life is Strange.
Yes, although that does technically belong to them. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. No, that I'm thinking Life is Strange would be a massive get in terms of
it'd be a decent one.
Like, I mean, like in terms of it, Life is Strange isn't going to be a console seller.
No, probably not. But yeah, like Square would be an interesting one. I mean, they also have all the Marvel stuff.
But then it depends on IP at the end of the day too.
Well, chances are that would carry over, at least until that agreement's up. But yeah, I don't know. That's my guess. I just don't know. It's so hard to tell. There are so many. I'm like, everyone's talking with everyone. Who knows what's going to happen? But I see the smart move is I'm sure Microsoft are looking at acquiring some sort of Japanese developer. The question is, that gets interesting in terms of like antitrust and monopoly stuff when it's a overseas developer outside of the US.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's still, like, I was listening to another podcast the other day. There's such a belief, I guess, in the space that, they can't go out and buy a Japanese publisher. It's like they totally can. Like, money talks at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure. And they have the cash for it. So, I mean, it's just a question.
It's just going to be more difficult than buying one closer to home.
Yeah.
It's going to be something else I said too. It'd be interesting if they bought like a few smaller ones. Like, who does Scarlet Nexus?
That falls under Square, doesn't it? No.
Yeah,
maybe?
If that's Square too, that would be probably a good get for them.
Oh, no, I don't think it is Square.
Because I heard Scarlet Nexus did like exceptionally well in Game Pass.
Yeah, well, then you also have like Namco, and there are other like smaller ones in there that have a lot of history to them, but it's a question of where they would be able to be acquired or whether they want to be acquired. But it's like, hey, you're right, money talks at the end of the day. So
I wouldn't be surprised too if Apple or Amazon came out and.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Is that like Microsoft and Sony are probably looking at those, looking at Google and looking at Apple and Amazon and being like, maybe we just acquire these not just so much like because we want them in our wheelhouse, but to prevent our competition from getting them.
I was gonna say, like, that's why I think Activision Blizzard got bought, because it's like, hey, let's put down $70 billion to send them a message. Hey, we're not kidding around. We've got 20 years in the space.
Yeah, it's true.
You're trying to get in.
Yeah.
They like, if Apple or Amazon wanted to get into the space, they're going to have to buy big to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see those guys putting out consoles, but if we
apparently Apple wants to work on a premium console.
Good fucking luck. Yeah, in this space, I mean, like, again, I know people said the same thing about Sony when they joined PlayStation, and the same thing as Microsoft with Xbox, but it doesn't feel like there's space in the market right now with the way things are going for a premium console.
Apple will just go out and buy Sony. They'll solve all the issues for them.
Yeah, I don't know if that would get passed, to be honest.
It'd be an interesting discussion. Anyway,
let's move on to our Game Pass stuff. What have we got? There's quite a bit going on at the moment.
Yeah. So, pretty much starting off from Feb 3rd, Dreamscaper, which I started today, which I'll talk about in the games that I played. Contrast, Feb 3rd, amazing game, one of Compulsion's first games.
Yeah, I think it was their first game. It's not bad.
Not bad. 1 hour completion. It's back in the time of like easier completions.
Yeah, I think it's like a 2 to 3. I think it's not very long.
Okay. Telling Lies, Feb 10. Have you done that one?
I think so. Yeah.
B Siege, don't know anything about it. Crossfire X, which I'm excited for.
Yep.
Edge of Eternity, Feb 10th. Skull, the Hero Sailor, Feb 10th. Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom. I would definitely recommend doing it in in Game Pass because outright games stuff is expensive because they're IPs.
Yes, they are.
Ark Ultimate Survivor, I believe we had Ark already, but this must be like a...
Yeah, it's probably like a complete edition.
Like a DLC, yeah. Infernax, Feb 14th. Perfect game for Valentine's Day. I know nothing about it. Don't take me for that. And Total War Warhammer free on PC on Feb 17th. Also got some news about like upcoming games in March. Far Changing Tides will hit Game Pass on March 1st. Shredders will hit on March 17th, which me and Nikita are personally looking forward to. Nikita loves snowboarding games. Memoir Blue, which is Annapurna.
Yep, I'm excited for
that. Which will be pretty good. March 24th. And Weird West, which is Devolver. March 31st. Also very excited for that one. And then we also have 2 Point Campus and MLB 2022 coming out this year. I'm not sure about 2 Point Campus. All I know is it's day one Game Pass.
We just don't know when, basically.
MLB 2022, I imagine.
It'll be like August, probably. Or...
wasn't it April last year with Outriders?
Actually, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was, yeah.
I think 2021 might get delisted and 2022 will be brought in.
That's
it will definitely leave Game Pass.
Definitely, yeah.
Leaving Wii got hit hard.
We did.
This is probably the hardest hitting 2 weeks of leaving for Game Pass. And like, there's some great stuff up the top, but a lot of stuff that's relatively unknown, I would say, hitting Game Pass.
Yeah, sure. Like adding.
Like that have been added, yeah. Like Dreamscape is amazing.
It's smaller stuff, which I'm like that's what I want. Yeah. At the end of the day, like I don't really care about AAA all that much. I'm more interested in the small indie stuff that because I don't buy games anymore. This is how I play stuff these days.
I want the stuff like Hades, and that is just beautiful. And like Dreamscape, it feels like that to me. So leaving anyway, we have Control, amazing game by Remedy, Code Vein. Don't really know much about it.
It's anime Dark Souls.
Anime Dark Souls, cool. Final Fantasy 12, Zodiac Age. Are you gonna attempt to?
No.
See, that's a really good. That's like my favorite Final Fantasy too.
I love that game, but it's I do not have time for that.
I saw it leaving. I'm like, I need to go back to it.
Like it's one of those ones that I'll probably just like buy at some stage when it's like really cheap.
To me, it's the one that's deserving the most of being bought. Like
I'm probably going to buy 10. Like 10 is probably the one that I'm going to get because I finished 10, but I need to do 10 too.
The Medium.
Yeah, that's a good one to do actually. If you're looking to finish something before it leaves Game Pass, that's the one you can rush through relatively quickly. It's not a long game. I enjoyed it for what it is. It's a solid 7 out of 10 game.
It also is a Series X exclusive, but if you do not have a Series X, you can get around it by cloud, like basically doing it as a cloud game. And just streaming it. Sigma Bless has said I'm not enjoying the Medium. I need to sit down and just do it in one day.
I've heard so many different things about like people enjoying it or not enjoying it. I thought it was fine for what it was. Like I wasn't expecting amazing stuff. Like Bloober Team make like decent games, but nothing amazing.
I loved Layers of Fear.
I really enjoyed Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear 2 is not as good. And like I really like Observer, but like Blair Witch was kind of just eh.
Yeah. Which I just like go.
Yeah, but like Keo points out, like you can finish the game in 3 hours if you're speed running it. Basically, I mean, obviously there are collectibles and other stuff to do, but like if you're just running through it,
nice.
So like you can get like it's an 8 to 10 hour completion. You can easily get it done before it leaves.
Yeah. Project Winter.
Yep.
Which is essentially Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing it. Mike and Valak did like a run through this morning. And they got me like 300G. Pretty fun.
Yeah. They're pretty close to getting the base game done for that. Apparently, I was talking to Mike this afternoon about it.
Yeah, I drove back so quickly, like being 17 hours in a car yesterday, just to get home at 12 o'clock, like at midnight, and just go. All right, I might try and make the session at 3 a.m. I passed out. I slept in, and I did it at 9 a.m. instead.
That's rough. Yeah.
And the Falconeer, which I'm sure
I'll talk about during my games that I've been playing.
Yeah, sweet. But yeah, like 2 Series X exclusive games. So I would look if we were going to do order, because like there have been some discussions of what order you should do stuff. I reckon the Falconeer, just because of the high TA.
Do the medium first. It's short and it's relatively straightforward. Then do control, because control is control you can do on easy.
Because Matt didn't care for the Falconeer at all.
Well, I'm doing Falconeer now and it's okay, but it's not like you're not missing that much so far.
Yeah, I mean it has been on sale quite a few times too, but
yeah, it has been pretty cheap. I guess we'll get into what we've been playing then.
Do you want to go first?
So I'll roll straight into it. So yeah, I've been playing through the Falconeer. So I'll say I finished Control. So I did Control on PC. Took me 12 hours to do that and the DLC. And I wasn't super speed running it, but I was going through pretty quickly. I had the assist modes on. Skipping all the cutscenes.
Is the Maze song as good the second time around?
Oh yeah, that I cranked it up for. It's so good.
It is one of my favorite songs in all of.
It's great. It's games. So fucking good. Control is an amazing game. I love it to pieces. The PC version is still a bit rough, and my laptop was not happy with me trying to play it, so I had to crank the settings down a bit.
Did it crash?
It crashed once on me, but it wasn't it was the physics. The particle physics in that game are really, really good, but they're very demanding. So like the game was hitching quite a bit anytime you would use anything that would do debris and that kind of stuff. So best thing to do is to play the Ultimate Edition on the Series X. That's definitely the best way to play it for sure. But yeah, so I ran through all that, got that done this afternoon. Also been playing The Division. So Kia, who's in the chat here, has been helping me out with my last achievement for extracting 100 items out of the survival mode. So we had 3 successful runs in a row this week. So I was very, very happy with that. So I'm at like 22% of the way there, because you can get 6 items out at a time. Hoping to do a few more runs this coming week. I would be really, really good to put that game to bed, because it's just been, that last achievement's been sitting there forever.
Yeah.
Really, still a really cool game. I really like that game.
I'm really keen to see how the movie turns out.
I don't know if I'm going to jump into Division 2 anytime soon. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of grind again. At the end of the day, it's a games as a service game, so that's not really my kind of jam.
I mean, you get Neverwinter achievements to worry about now.
Right. Yep. So I was just about to say. So the new update for Neverwinter just came out on the 1st. I jumped in it and I'm not really enjoying it yet. They make a fair few changes, but we'll see how it goes. I've been out of the game for a little bit. The last update they put out was like in March last year, so it's been like since I played this properly, it's been a fair few months. But yeah, there's been a few updates. There's a lot of grindy content. There's only 2 achievements, one for just doing the campaign and then one for doing the new challenge trial that they put in. But my item level is way lower than it needs to be to do a lot of that stuff. So I'm gonna have to work that out. I'm still part of the Never Whatever Guild. They're a wonderful bunch of people. I don't think they ever listened to this, but they've been very, very helpful and trying to get me back on the horse. I'm just debating how much effort I want to put into it right away when I have other things to play.
Yeah.
Also did a bit of Castle Storm. It's kind of been one of the things I've been working on this week, and my backlog cleanup. Charlotte says, Matt not enjoying Neverwinter, who would have guessed? Very true.
Matt,
Neverwinter, when it's good, it's great. Neverwinter is an amazing game when it's good, but every update they make to it just pushes me away from it.
See, I'm very skeptical of Neverwinter just because I was very addicted to Perfect Chord when I was a teenager.
Yeah, it's got that same thing.
And it's just like, I don't want to draw myself in.
Every time you have to open your wallet, it just gets worse and worse, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a bit of Castle Storm as one of my cleanup games for my backlog, which has been really good because it's been sitting there for ages. I kind of just bit the bullet and was like, hey, there's I'm trying to get all my online achievements done, and this one had one for doing all the survival maps, and to do those, you need to get through the campaign. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do it. Managed to get through almost all of the base game. There's only one achievement left, and I've started the DLC. Relatively straightforward. You need to get 5 stars in all the levels, so there's a little bit of finessing that. There are a few levels that are just really, really annoying, but it's a kind of fun game. I'm not really looking forward to having to do it all over again for the definitive edition on the Xbox One version. But for like a sort of tower defense meets Angry Birds style game, it's relatively low stakes, and you can it's got an RPG mechanic, so you can level up all your stuff as with gold as you acquire it through the levels. So you can kind of like power level your way through it, which is quite nice. But yeah, like it's fun, but nothing amazing. Also played a bit of Perfect Dark Zero. I've been playing a lot of that with Mike. We finally got through that barrier, and we actually finished the game on Perfect Agent this afternoon, which is really, really great. So we only had like one major level to do. It's actually one of the easier ones. So we got through that without too much effort. We kind of found a good trick. And then we fought the final boss, who's a massive letdown, and we beat like second try. And so now we got to go through on dark difficulty. And so we did that final boss again, super easy, and we did a couple other levels. So we're going to slowly be chipping away at that. Now is when it gets really, really difficult because
2022, the year of the hard completions.
Yeah, I'm really going to be trying to finish some stuff because like my backlog has been taunting me for a long time, and I really need to put a really good effort into it. I'm actually pretty close to hitting 96% completion. I'm about 150 achievements away from it.
Right.
So
you lost me at that word.
Yeah, right. Completion, exactly.
Completion? What's
that?
Yeah,
no, don't worry about it. And then the last thing, I started the Falconeer this afternoon. Once I finished Control, it's kind of like Airy if Airy had combat. So you just kind of fly around and explore things. It's not...
Can you understand my comparison to Forza Horizon, though? It is quite easily a game where you can...
I guess so.
Go on autopilot.
Yeah. It kind of just feels like busy work. It reminds me, this is going to be a sort of a deep cut for a lot of people, but I don't know who played. There was a game called Freelancer that I used to play on the PC when I was a kid, where it was a really, really cool space combat sim, where you just kind of go from like spaceport to spaceport, and like land on planets and just kind of do like pick up missions and fight pirates and stuff. It was relatively basic. It did a thing where instead of having like true 3D motion, it would be everything was on a flat plane, but you could like stretch yourself out. So you could like push yourself in a direction, and then the game would guide you back into it. So it was kind of like a cheat 3D. Really, really cool. It reminds me of that a lot, where it's like the combat's relatively basic. It's just kind of like busy work, but just kind of like, you stop at ports and do missions and go between places and just kind of, it's light and easy. And I don't know. It hasn't really grabbed me. I'm doing the cartography stuff, so I'm just exploring all the areas first before I do any of the real missions. But it's leaving Game Pass. I need to do it. But anyway, that puts me at 3,140 for this week.
So no Cuphead.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I did do Cuphead. I just haven't really talked about it. I managed to finish Cuphead, story wise.
You finished the game?
I finished the story, and I'm going through an expert now. I did like a few bosses on expert, but most of them are absolute bullshit. So I don't know if I'm going to go back to it anytime soon. I kind of just got kind of burnt out on it. But like I'm glad that I went back and finished the story. It was a really good feeling beating the devil finally.
How many achievements do you have left?
I need to do King Dice without getting hit.
Yep.
And I need to do the pacifism, and I need to do the expert run, and I think that's it.
Pacifist is fine. Like, Pacifist is really easy except for the last...
I've only got the last two levels to do, and those are the hardest ones.
The harbour, or the...
Yeah.
That's just bull.
Yeah.
It took me like half an hour, but like every other level is relatively easy. Yeah. Except I get a bit confused, like doing the up and down kind of movement.
Sure, yeah, right.
And then with the not getting hit by King Dice, if you go in there with more than 3 HP and still make it out, like I made it out with 3 HP.
I made it out with 1 when I first did it, so I was like, I couldn't get the timing quite right. So and I doubt I'll do any better on expert.
Don't sleep on it. You go. I just know. I'm gonna ask you at the end of the year, and you're like, oh yeah, I haven't gone back to it.
No, I probably haven't, but we'll see. I mean, again, the Game Pass stuff sort of took priority. I also got a copy of we don't talk about sales anymore, but Immortals Phoenix Rising is 75% off for the gold edition now. So
I mean, we don't talk about sales, but that is definitely
a really good sale. So I've been waiting on that for ages. So that's probably going to be one of my next.
Stop suggesting games I need to go back to that I'll enjoy.
That's just how it goes. Anyway, speaking of which, what have you been playing?
All right, so I'll quickly mention that I did complete Cuphead.
Congratulations.
I'm pretty sure I was in a party with like 5 other people when I bet the King Dice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I was jumping up and down. No, wait. Actually, it was like 20 minutes after they went to bed.
Right.
And I was jumping up and down. Then I decided, all right, well, I'm on a streak. I'm going to go back to Xenocrisis and attempt the S ranks. and it took me like 4 hours, but I managed to pull it off.
Nice
It
job.
took me using my arcade stick, turboing it to do shooting and grenades, and then using that as the second player.
I mean, hey, if it works,
it worked.
Right?
It took me
that's the important
numerous tries. It worked. Other than that, I finished the multiplayer grind for Brotherhood. So
Good
now Assassin's Creed next Sunday, we're essentially just going to work through all the Assassin's Creeds on Sundays, every second Sunday. Been doing Project Winter, which I talked about before leaving Game Pass. Not really much to it other than it is a survival / Among Us kind of clone. Like, it's essentially those two genres.
It's like a party game sort of thing, yeah.
Party game. Really easy to boost. I got lucky with the RNG with the escape pod. I don't know how difficult that is. But, I mean, Mike was saying, like, Mike and Valak were screaming at me to run to it, so I assume it's somewhat harder. I guess, past that, these are the main games I want to talk about. Have you had the chance to play Who's Your Daddy yet?
No, I have not. I'm keeping that one in the backlog for a bit.
Why is that? Because it's going to get updates? Or because
it's going to get updates every 5 minutes, and I don't really need that in my life.
All right. It is a 1 hour completion. It is a ton of fun. Just because the physics are that ridiculous, and they screw up that easily. There's not much I can say about this game other than it's 1 hour completion. Basically, there is a dad and they're a baby, and you're preventing the baby from dying.
Yep.
You're the dad. Or if you're the baby, you're just trying to kill yourself. Like all babies try and do.
Yep. Suicidal drunks. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of achievements for like drowning yourself in the pool 25 times, drinking 50 gallons of bleach. What else is there? There's a lot of crazy stuff like that. I will say with the bleach achievement, I found that whenever I went to the laundry, drinking the bleach in there did not contribute to the achievement. But once I did a local co-op match, I went to the kitchen and set bleach to be like a high spawning item. It worked immediately. Other than that, it is a blast to play with friends. It is for like $5 or I think like $7.45 Australian. It is a ridiculously good time. And I'm pretty sure if you ask anybody in AHA that wants to get you involved, they will just buy it for you because they want to play it with you.
Yeah.
So there's that. I hit up Alex the other day because Alex always bugs me about not doing games with him.
Yep,
so I'm just like, all right, I'm going to double down. We're doing Generation Zero.
Okay. Yep.
It is
Swedish robot game, right?
Swedish robots from the 70s, I believe. Something along those lines. This is a really fun game. And the only reason I think so is because the sound design of a tank falling on the ground, like a tank like with 4 legs and that, just roaming and falling on the ground, and hearing that metal clank is just so satisfying. I haven't heard a sound in a game like it for so long, just because of the amount of effort. Massive shout out to Pluto because he figured out how to turn the difficulty down, how to manage the crafting system. The only problem with the game is the tutorial is shit.
I was gonna say, like, you guys have played this game for ages already, though. Like, how the fuck did you guys know this
I mean,
shit?
like,
you didn't Google anything for
no.
No. Of course, of course, it was you and Alex together. Like, of course, it was just like, rock good, use fire.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's essentially like Ark with robots and that. Like, if you think
Jesus, yeah, that sounds awful.
No, but we're having a ton of fun with it. Just getting a whole bunch of the miscellaneous achievements. I'm not sure. Like, the collectibles seem like they're probably going to be the grindiest thing.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, hey, it's fun. If you want to jump on it with us, I'm sure we can easily help. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you jump into the right world, a whole ton of achievements unlock.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're after some easy score. Anyway, 2 more games. Next Space Rebels. Have you seen it at all?
Next Space Rebels. That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know if I played it.
It hit Game Pass a little while ago, and I was just like, all right, Xbox Cast is doing their friendly Feb competition. I'm going to have a look and see what I've got. And, like, I've been meaning to have a look into this game. I know nothing about it. It's interesting.
It's a simulation game, apparently.
It is it is a simulation game where you're building rockets.
Right.
And it's essentially like you're building a rocket, you're trying to fire it up as high as you can, and then you're just adding like wacky contractions to it too. So
like a more fun Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you might have goals of like set fireworks off at 50 meters in the air and stuff like that. But at the same time, it is a social media management game.
Oh God. Okay. Right.
So
I'm starting to see why you like this shit. All right. Yeah.
So I'm famous on StarTube.
Mm-hmm. StarTube. Yeah.
On StarTube. So pretty much the game starts off as you're watching this Rocket Girl, famous StarTuber. And essentially you're aspiring to be you do this rocket space, like you're building this rocket kit, trying to achieve all these goals, and then it implements like this messaging system that gives you items as you go along, adds more tasks in, then it starts teaching you about SEO for StarTube, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So SEO,
so you're like,
to our non-marketing people.
Yeah, right. So you're like, okay, I want a rocket that works, but I also want one that has big tits on it.
So there's like achievements in the game for like triggering their sensor system as well.
Right.
For getting videos removed from StarTube.
That's very funny.
It's quite a funny, like it is a very corny kind of plot. It's like, oh, you're just aspiring to be like a big celebrity that basically just launches build your own rocket kits.
Sure. Yeah, that's someone's dream.
And then like I played for a few hours. I got up to the point where they're talking about acquiring space. Like space doesn't belong to any one country. Like it's for the next space rebels, and that's where the name of the game comes from.
Right.
And like, let's launch the first rocket into space, that kind of stuff. It's really weird and wacky. The only thing that's bugged me is there's not like, I'm liking the story quite a bit. I'm liking the creativity about it because there's like achievements like make your rocket do a flip, make your rocket land in a building.
Right.
But at the same time, there's like no achievement guides out there. It's
right.
Like you have to watch a walkthrough video to find out what you're meant to be doing.
Right.
It is very similar kind of discovery process as Bridge Constructor though. Like trying something a few times, seeing if it sticks, and that's why I want a guide.
Unsold. I'm out. I'm out. That sounds like Bridge Constructor is like fucking awful.
This is a game though that as soon as it does have a working guide, I would highly recommend.
Right.
Like it has that like level of corny to it that I'm just like, all right, I'm sold just because I'm just interested enough to see how stupid this story gets.
Right.
And just, I mean, like, how many games out there that match up SEO with social media and build your own rocket?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's definitely a unique concept. I will give you that.
Yeah,
I will give you that.
But yeah, there's some great achievements in there. I'm probably going to check it out a little bit more just for Friendly Feb and see if I can get quite a bit. I think it is meant to be like a 30-hour completion though.
All right.
But I mean, it is a definitely interesting game. The other one I was going to recommend is Dying Light.
Of course, which you mentioned you've gone back to, right?
So I went back to it. I then discovered that my best save with my level 24 level 24 is max for agility, power, and survival. Yeah, that save's corrupted.
Ouch.
Yeah, which wasn't fun. So I decided, all right. I remember this is one of the games in the Xbox One generation that I bought. I absolutely loved to death. Like I think I sat down for like 2 days nonstop and like barely did anything other than just play this game. It is amazing. The combat holds up. Like, if Dying Light 2 is exactly like Dying Light 1's like parkour and all that, but better, I'm sold. I don't care if it is a shit story. The shit story in one is like the story in one is shit too, but it is saved by the voice acting. Like the voice acting is really good for the main character, but I'm trying to think who the voice actor is. But like just the story is so predictable.
Yeah, right, and like it ends with like a QTE boss fight. I remember there was a lot of talk about that at the time.
But like I've been going through trying to get the achievements. I did some of the parkour challenges that day. I'm trying to get the night ones to unlock. I don't know if I'm mistaken with this, but it seems that my save corrupted. But then when I did the parkour challenges, I started with like 50%, like already on the tracker. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tracker did not reset.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes it won't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like you might be able to, hey, go to a new save file if you're having difficulty with some of the harder ones and bust it out that way.
Well, no, because you'd have to do ones that you hadn't already done.
Yeah, but I find it very unlikely that I would start a new story and go to those very starting ones and immediately track them.
And like increase the tracker?
In the starting area.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, hey, if you have what happens to me, try it out. I'm not saying that it will, but it definitely seems to be the case for the day. The night one, I haven't been able to finish any challenges at night yet because I'm still too low leveled.
Gotcha.
But I got to say, with the weapons that have been dropped, it is very nice to be able to cut up a volatile and 3 hits.
That does help a lot. Half breaks the game, but yeah.
Like it definitely does break the game. Essentially, I'm trying to push through though and get everything done. Like, I just need to get the Rise Men, like rescuing the survivors from Rise Men. I have only found one of those events on a new playthrough.
Yeah, they don't spawn that often, right?
And I'm in 10 hours in.
Guess you gotta wander around for a bit longer.
Yeah. So I'm like 80%. I'm hoping that I can get it. That I'm going to try and get the Bozak Horde done, just to try and rub it in Alex and Steven's face. Because we have tried to do it before and it's very difficult. But I do want to go for Dying Light 1 completion. I do want to go for Dying Light 2 completion this year. So,
all right. Best of luck to you.
Yeah. And other than that, I don't know if it's Dreamscaper or Dreamscraper. No, Scaper.
Scaper.
Yeah.
Dreamscaper. As in like you escape, yeah.
So I started today. First thing I'll mention off the bat, it has a Lucid mode. Now, Lucid mode is God mode in the same way that the 20% resistance in Hades works.
Oh, okay.
And then adds 2% on each. It is a roguelite. It is essentially a carbon copy of Hades, but without the voice acting and the music that makes it special.
So just not as good.
Yeah, it's essentially Hades, but not as good. You've got the God mode. You've got you've got the ability to pick what you need to work on.
Sure.
Which is so much nicer than Hades.
That does help.
But then essentially how the game works is your runs will be, you fall into your bed, you're tackling like Fear is the first major boss that you go against. I think Isolation's the second. That's as far as I've got. It's like the gameplay is very, I don't want to say serviceable because it's better than serviceable, but it's not as good as Hades.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with Hades though, to be fair, because they kind of perfected it.
But I mean, like, this is a very similar format. Every time you come back into the real worlds, you then have points that you get from your runs in typical roguelite fashion. You can use them to either meditate at the park. You could use them to upgrade rooms in the run. You can use it to upgrade stats, that kind of stuff.
Right. It's like permanent bonuses, like most roguelites, yeah.
The only gripe I've got with the game, in the marketing of the game, they say it's permadeath. So I was really confused. But their term for permadeath is your run ends, you break out of the... It's not permadeath.
That's not permadeath at all, but whatever.
And I'm just like, why are you saying permadeath? Like, this is... So many people are going to sleep on this game now because they're going to hit permadeath and go...
Sleep on this
And
game.
it's just like... And you're saying it's a roguelite and you're saying there's permadeath involved.
Just say it's a roguelite.
Yeah.
Let people know what a roguelite is. Yeah.
But really fun game. There is like recipes you can unlock in the real world too that you use them to gift, like you use them to craft items and then you gift them to individuals that you meet. I kind of feel like it's going to have a very heavy story because the first 2 seconds into the game you see a frame on a bedside table that says cancer sucks.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of this, like the sleeping and the dreaming, the fact that she's lucid dreaming is trying to escape that kind of reality. Right. I might be looking into it, but just like based off the scenery I've seen so far.
All right. I mean, yeah. Like, what are the achievements like, by the way? Just
I've done like 5 in the first thing. It seems like a longer list, but it doesn't seem too bad. I have no indication of time though. Nobody else has completed it. Let's have a look. Game released yesterday, right?
Yeah, right. So
1,000 people have started. Let's have a look at her highest. Why? Okay, it's not showing me because it's technically not. It's to be announced on TA, so I can't check where people are tracking.
All right. Well, I'll be interested to hear a bit more of it once you get a bit further into it.
Yeah, a lot of it's like beat this boss. Yeah, beat regret, beat resentment, beat negativity, beat loss. There's one for like beating all levels without skipping bosses because you like each time you go on a new run, if you defeat a boss, you can basically skip past them. I'm farming them at the moment though because it seems like really easy points. Beat all levels with a dream intensity rating of 6 or higher.
Right, so that's the heat meter.
Heat meter.
So it really is just Hades.
It is really. I would not be surprised if somebody that worked on Hades worked on this as well.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm totally okay with it. Hades was a great game. There should be more games like it.
As far as I can see, there's not any achievements that relate to like RNG in that sense though. Like if you need to unlock a certain weapon or max out a certain weapon that you want to use,
you just use that weapon.
You just use that weapon and you pick a new one, or you can pick a random one if that's how you feel like you're doing it.
Sweet.
The only hard one I've seen so far, Trailblazer, 100% all floors in a single run.
Right. Okay.
Because there is a secret room on each level that you need to find.
Gotcha.
But
all right.
Yeah, pretty good game.
So is that all you played?
Yep, that's all I played for the week, and I got 2,128. I will also say that I hit the milestone 69 on the nose because I had to.
Of course you fucking did, you damn juvenile prick.
What games did I use too? I used Cuphead was part of it, and then it was something else.
Right.
I can't think of what it was right now, but yeah, I got Xenocrisis. I did also complete Nobody Saves the World with Firehawk.
Oh yes.
Like I've said, do not sleep on this. Like this is an amazing game. You definitely want to be playing it before it starts to leave Game Pass, which I imagine will be the 1 year thing. But it is a co-op game. Just get in there, get it done. 30 hours.
It's number 3 on my co-op list, so I'm getting to it.
I think when you get to it, you'll be like, no, you've undersold this. Like it is an amazing game. It will be in our game of the year.
That's true. You are really shit at selling games. That is 100% true.
Yeah, but then if I don't sell games too, I can actually get more ratio from me.
Yeah, but like what the fuck is ratio?
People are only doing the Falconeer now that it's leaving. Like,
yeah, no shit.
It was on it was like on a 8,000.
Look, Game Pass ratio doesn't count, mate. It never did. All right. Whatever. Let's have a look at the leaderboard then.
Right.
Who have we got?
Leaderboard, we've got Red in third place at 7,770. We have Fresh Forever in second place at 21,210. And we have Kruger with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want him to add a few more X's so I can be like Kruger with the 7 evil X's.
Yeah.
Be good. I'm going to bring that up. He's going to have to do a name change when he comes on the pod.
I'm sure I'll appreciate that.
22,895.
Jesus Christ, Kruger.
He got his 1 mil last week, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay, maybe he's just on
Oh no, he does it. He's not stopping.
He's on a grind. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Do we want to get into completion shoutouts first and then go to community questions? Cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So Keo, shout out for completing the medium. Red, shout out for completing paparazzi. Kruger with the X's, 115,525 gamer score in January. Nuts.
Insane.
Chin, 160,384 gamer score in Jan. And the completion for Forza Street, which I do not want to touch. Stephen, 3.05 ratio, or AFTOS. Declan, 61,940 gamer score in Jan. Varian Charlotte, 9,250 in Jan. Me, the Cuphead and Xenocrisis completions, and getting 69. Just so people can go nice. That's nice. All I wanted to do. Nice. Baron with Warhammer, 40,000 Inquisitor.
Yep.
And Rapture with a bunch of baby games.
So that's we just put Rapture at the end of each of these. It's actually already on the template, so we don't have to add that ourselves. Yep. It's nice.
100%. Cool.
All right, we got a couple of community questions this week. Isaac sent in one saying, "Hey guys, I have a couple of hours to play a game coming up, so I'd like some suggestions. Can you recommend any fun 1 to 2 hour short games, story games? I can clear up the remaining achievements at a later time. Bonus points if they're available on Game Pass. Thanks for taking my question." You're very welcome, Isaac.
When I first saw this, I got the email when I was traveling. I thought Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero.
Yeah, Ground Zero is a good one to just kind of run through if you want to get a feel for that game. Because there's obviously a lot of cleanup you can do for the achievements, but
I think it had a relatively good story too the first time.
Yeah, it's not bad. But it's not the strongest. It's got Gardens Between was always a good one.
That was on Game Pass.
Yeah. That was one that I was like, I actually really like that.
Abzu as well was pretty good.
Abzu's a great one for that. Yep.
I don't know though. Like he could be just going like, hey, I just want to play 1 to 2 hour story. And don't worry about everything else.
The thing is, like most games, don't like even if you don't go for collectibles and stuff, are going to take you longer than an hour or two. Yeah. Like Omno is a good one.
See, I'm going to be a prick and say roguelites.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
because you can get a few runs in.
Yeah, but you don't. But the thing is, you don't get a story. And like, if you do get a story, you got to work for it. Like Hades, you got to complete 10 runs to get the whole story anyway.
I'm trying to think of the things that come to mind. What about Virginia?
Yeah, Virginia's okay. I really fucking hated Virginia in terms of like story wise. Like there was not much to it.
1 to 2 hour completions. What are we thinking? 1 to 2 hour story games.
I mean, like the Telltale stuff is like relatively short, I guess. You can get through an episode in an hour or two.
Yeah, I guess Life is Strange, True Colors.
Yeah, just Life is Strange is probably a good one. Yeah,
just do an episode a night.
Yeah.
Here we go. The 21 best video games you complete in 6 hours or less. You tell me whether you recommend or not. Inside?
Yes, I would recommend Inside.
I know we're going a bit wider with the times here, but Inside 3 hours 30 minutes is what they're saying in Vulture.
Yes, I would recommend that.
Portal 3 hours.
Yep, Portal's amazing. You can get that done in less than 3 hours too.
Firewatch 4 hours.
Yep, Firewatch is good.
Journey.
Yes, Journey I recommend as well, though you can't play it on Xbox.
Yeah. Superhot.
Yes, Superhot. Yeah. Going back to clean up the completion on that was very rough. I still haven't done it.
Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. I mean, like it's interesting.
I mean, I didn't really understand it by the end of it.
It's non-fucking sensical.
Okay.
It's sniffing its own farts a lot. Like it's so far up its own ass. It was like, hey, imagine like if it was like Twin Peaks meets like X-Files, but like with no dialogue, and it's like has like jump cuts in it. I'm like, that's a cool idea. Fuck knows what it meant.
Gone Home.
Gone Home. You can finish in a minute.
Yeah. Undertale.
Yep, Undertale's a good short one. Yep.
Yep. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
Her Story. Haven't heard of that. Her Story.
Yeah, Her Story is interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a what you make of it game.
PC, Mac, iOS, Android.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably asking for Xbox here, but like,
yeah,
I can't really think of any.
Anything that's short is not going to be good. I hate to break it to you, but even if you were to rush through it, like if you're speed running it, you're going to miss the story anyway.
Your best bet is to get an episodic game than to split it up.
Yeah, and there are, Telltale have heaps of them. Like Dreamfall Chapters is a good one for that. If you want something that's a bit more sort of laid back.
Anything that you can work really on a chapter a night kind of thing and still keep up with the story.
Yeah, agreed.
To the Moon.
Yeah, To the Moon's pretty good, yeah.
Thomas Was Alone's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The Room. What else is there? Hotline Miami.
I don't know about that. But...
Difficult. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
It's a short game. It's all right.
Oxenfree.
Oxenfree, yes. Yeah, because you could do one playthrough of that.
Yep. The Swapper.
Artful Escape, as Charlotte says, is a fantastic suggestion.
What's that, like 4 hours? Yeah?
Yeah, like 3 hours, 3.5 maybe.
Papers, Please.
I guess, yeah.
I fucking love Papers, Please. It's like one of those games that I go back to every once again.
Yeah, it's all right. Like, I respect it, but it's not really my kind of game.
Yeah. Tacoma is a really good one.
Yeah, Tacoma. Yeah, I think actually good idea. Check out what Charlotte's been playing recently because she's been discovering a lot of those games. And
See, Charlotte's been playing decent baby games.
Yeah, right. She hasn't been playing a lot of trash, but she's been playing shorter games. So I would definitely go and check out what.
See, I'm gonna get called out for that later on.
No, that's true. Like it's she's been playing a lot of stuff that's good.
Let's go to Charlotte's. Where is she on TA? Let's have a look of recent games and see if we can pick anything apart. Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, Pedestrian. That's a good one too.
Actually, Pedestrian is really good. I really enjoyed that. You play a few matches of Among Us.
Yep.
The achievements aren't too bad to clean up. Transference is a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Elijah Wood one?
Yep.
Cool. What else have we got? Just anything they can work on. AI the Somian Files, is that episodic?
Not really. It was sort of.
Like, is there any games that you can think of that you can kind of break apart? Like
AI Somnium Files is great because you put as much it's a visual novel, so you put as much time into it as you want. Submerged, is another good one. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of anything else.
Yeah, I think that's
Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk. Actually, it's Coffee Talk. Yes, Coffee Talk definitely.
Coffee Talk and Unpacking. There you go. That's a really good weekend.
There you go, mate. You've got about 50 titles you got to work on. So have fun with that. Your 1 to 2 hours is something going to be 200 hours you got to be doing. But you get a lot of games done, so that's the main thing.
Sweet.
We got a question from Charlotte at the end of last week. Have you played anything that had a game-breaking glitch that you had to delete your save and restart everything? Would you restart the whole game or just say fuck it? If I popped an achievement, I will always restart the game. I will not be happy about it. I will rage. I may not go back to it immediately, but I will go back to it.
150 hours into Forza Horizon 2. What do you think happened with the cloud save?
Right? It's like, my Batman Arkham City save is gone from the 360. So I'm having to redo that. I did redo all of Lost Odyssey. I had to redo all of that because the DLC is at the end of the game, so you need to have almost maxed out characters.
There is no greater feeling in life, there be sneezing, orgasm, whatever, than finding a 360 with an old save file.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Like I was talking to Shane Firehawk, and he was and he's going to try and help me out with some Guardians of Middle Earth, and it turns out he had his fucking save file. I was so happy. Oh my god, I was so happy because it's like he's finished the game, which means he hopefully has all the characters. So now we just got to try and match up. But that's exactly. It's great. It's great finding an old save file. And then Charlotte brought this up because she was 2 hours into the into Tomb Raider, and she got there's a glitch she got stuck with. She had to restart the whole game. Unfortunately,
it sucks because it completely destroys all motivation for me. Like if I want to play a game in that then and something breaks, I'm probably going to put it down for at least another year and then pick it up.
I usually put it down for like a day because I'm the thing is that like it bugs at me. Yeah. And the thing is like I'm very, very stubborn. And Mike and I were discussing this as we played through Perfect Dark. But yeah, it's just like it sucks. And like I've had save files go missing. Like I lost my Burnout Paradise save for my 360 back in the day. I lost my Fallout 3 save. Again, a lot of the stuff was like coming back to it to do the DLC, right? And it's like I don't have my save file anymore. And I was like, fuck, well, that's gonna cause problems. But anyway, yeah.
God, plan saves and quick resume is like the best things that ever happened to us.
Absolutely. Charlotte also asked, if we were to quit gaming, what other hobby would you replace it with?
Sex
probably.
work.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Apparently, I'd look pretty good in a nude calendar.
I mean, hey, someone will buy one. For me, it would probably be I probably watch more anime and TV. I mean, I'm already a bit of a cinephile, right? But like I just don't have time to watch anime as much as I like because I'm a bit of a weeb. Although I try to keep my power level down a little bit at least when I'm in public. But yeah, like I love TV series. I love discussing media. So if it wasn't as interactive, I would just be watching TV. Movies, like I'm a bit more iffy on. Like I enjoy movies, but like TV is where I really get into it.
I know. I'd probably be like, I don't want to say studying, but I'd probably be like tinkering with stuff a lot more.
Sure.
Like achievement hunting is a really good distraction, and to me, like I find gaming fun, but I don't think I would say I find gaming as fun as somebody that uses gaming for recreation. To me, it's like trying to achieve goals.
it's cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's both, right? It's enjoyable and cathartic. It's almost the perfect medium in terms of how when it works really, really well.
Yeah. Other than that, I'd probably just, I don't know, get on the whiskey.
Yeah,
become a connoisseur.
I'm very, very glad that I'm sober because I have an addictive personality, as I'm sure people would have guessed. So that's part of the reason I don't drink anymore.
You know what? I actually probably read quite a bit more.
I would like to think that I would read, but I probably wouldn't.
Read the paper every day, and that would be pretty much it.
No, I mean, fuck, like I would.
What I do.
Maybe I'd read manga. Who knows? Like again, it's like I enjoy so much of that stuff, and so much of it passes me by because I spend all my time playing video games.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Like that's a conscious choice that I make. I'm several years into this life now,
so I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Not really. I mean, it's been what, nearly 15 years. It'll be 15 years in August.
If anything, it will just get deeper.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm 25,000 away from 2 million. Oh, sorry, from 1.9 million. And so that that's given me that little bit of push to be like, I'm gonna hit 2, and then we'll see what happens.
You'll be with the big kids again.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Except for, I guess, bloody Redemption and Smirnoff.
Yeah, right. Who are in the 3s? Yeah, which is crazy, but
they're the only 2 in the 3s still, or
I think so. There might be one more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sweet.
And then Charlotte also just put a last minute question in here. If you had a character created for you in a game universe, what universe would it be in and why? I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what universe I want to be in. Most universes suck. Like the whole thing is that there's a conflict, right? So it's usually nothing nice. And it's like, I want to be in like Call of Duty or whatever. It's like, you're not going to be like, you're just going to be some random civilian who gets gunned down you're going to be like one of the people in the no Russian level. I don't know. Being in The Sims would be interesting because then I get to live out my dream of having a house.
Drowning in a pool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Meeting Father Christmas. Allison says Pokemon. That's probably a popular choice. Yeah, Pokemon's probably a good one.
I still think if Pokemon was a real thing, that it would be a lot. Bestiality would be on the rise.
Oh yeah, I mean, look. There's
a lot of weirdos out there.
I'm not going to put the Vaporeon copy pasta in the chat, but you guys know what to look for. Hades. I mean, we basically do live in Hades, Charlotte.
Why do you think I named my daughter after Greek gods?
Persona's a good one. Persona's a really good choice. Kyo chimes in with that would be really cool, actually. Maybe like I don't know which Persona though.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Charlotte says maybe Anal Crossing, but I bet people try to kick me out. I think that's a Freudian slip there.
I'm sorry, what? If I had to be a character for any game universe, I'm trying to think of something good. You know what? Overcooked.
You just want to be stressed out and have rats running around your kitchen?
No, I mean, for those that don't know, I used to run like one of the best restaurants in like KFC restaurants. I mean, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I used to be the most profitable store out of my 55 stores. Mm-hmm. And the problem I had with it is how they set up the bonuses was so gamified to me that it was addicting.
I'm definitely getting KFC after this. I'm fucking.
But I would honestly say like a restaurant simulator would probably be.
It'd be interesting, right? Yeah, like something lighthearted, right? Like cook serve delicious, or I don't know.
Cook serve delicious would be that would be a good one. Maybe I just be a bus driver. Live out my days as a bus driver. It would be some kind of simulation game.
Some simulation.
Actually, that reminds me too. Flight Simulator. That's it. Flight Simulator got the Australian DLC.
Oh yes, I heard
the update. So I'm very keen to check that out. Fly over the big banana. Fly over all the big stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you mean unbranded chicken product.
Yes, yeah. Alison is correct. I mean unbranded chicken product that I'm very hungry for.
UCP. That's
unbranded chicken product. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you do.
No, I mean like as in he sees P's. You should probably get that checked out.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not pulling that.
No, we're done. We're done. All right. We're moving on for the juvenile behavior in the chat. We've
Patreon
also got
shoutouts.
we've also got first of all, we've got the
challenge.
The Hall of Gamers Word Challenge.
The Shadowless Edge Hall of Gamers Word Challenge.
The Shadowless Edge ruins. So we had a successful guest on the Word Challenge, which I'm very happy about. Immediately after the episode went out. So congratulations to Aftos, Stephen, for guessing Devil Dice. A game that no one except for... Well, actually, people have probably played the demo. It was on a demo disc on the PlayStation 1. And it left an impression on me forever. I've never played the full game, but I played the demo through. I'm like, this is the weirdest, cool game I've ever seen.
Wasn't there like a Yu-Gi-Oh game called Yu-Gi-Oh Devil Dice?
No, that was Dungeon Dice. I think it was. Okay. Yeah. Because that was the whole thing with Yu-Gi-Oh was that it was going to be a different game every season. But the card game got so popular that they just were like, well, I guess we're doing the card game. And
then they just made it overly complicated so nobody could fucking understand the rules.
Exactly, yeah. Toon World, motherfucker. But yeah, so Aftos guessed Devil Dice. Alex responded by saying, do you just Google games no one's ever heard of? Which is a fair point. But yeah, no, it was a game that left an impression on me. I thought it might be an interesting one. So congratulations, mate. You won your $40. Cameron tried to stiff you by saying it was only 20. And seeing if he would notice. Everyone
he still hasn't got that money.
Everyone noticed and called him out immediately. I've got to come up with a new game. So I haven't done that yet. I wanted to announce the winners, but I will have a new clue for everyone next week.
Wait, next week?
Yeah.
Just give them the clue now. It's a game.
Well, that's like I have
it's
some.
February. You should have something planned.
I have some in mind, but I haven't decided on it yet. So I don't want to give it away yet. Because the thing is, if I make it too easy, I also want to run it by some people. Because again,
but the thing is too, if you make it too easy, nobody's gonna guess it. Because they're like, I'm not gonna waste a guess on an easy game that Matt's not gonna fucking pick.
I'm gonna pick something devilish again. So we will see what we come up with. But there'll be a new clue next week.
All right. Patreon.
Yes. So we got our Patreon shoutouts. So we're gonna go through. You want to go through that list there, Cameron?
Yeah. So we got Mad Lefty. We have got Gary. We have Admiral Awesome. We have Odrun, Keo, Cobra Todd, Moogle356, Kung Fu Skills, Hawkeye Barry, Hack and Pone. I've got the real name. I shouldn't be doxing it. Huh? Cavalier, yeah. And I think one's cut off. Is it old mate?
Brad, yep. Brad and McLovin Legend.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
And Charlotte, of course, for always being our biggest supporter.
I mean, I heard something about her putting money in your pocket.
Well, I mean, look, we're not going to get into that. Again, we very much appreciate our patrons. I just had to renew our Zoom subscription, so that cost us $220 or $235. So it's been a bit.
Anybody wants to send me money at the moment because I have to reimburse that.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of an expensive start to the year, but it is what it is. We want to do the show, so we really appreciate the patrons. We literally could not do the show without you guys. And as a reward, we do our Lights, Camera, and Action Patreon exclusive show. So we're in the midst of being able to film the second part of that. We're watching Free Guy at the moment. If you don't know about that, basically it's a show where Cameron, Charlotte, and I get together. We talk about a video game franchise that's been turned into a movie. We go away and watch it and then come back and talk about it afterwards and give our thoughts. So yeah, we're watching Free Guy, which is kind of technically a video game movie. It's a bit of a edge case, but we wanted something interesting to start the year off.
I just refused to watch Resident Evil. They were an impasse.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to do something else that's actually not terrible to start with. We'll get to the bad stuff pretty quickly though. But yeah, so we've recorded the first part. We've gone away and watched it. We're going to record the second part probably the next week or so. And then also Cameron does a contest for our patrons.
Yep, that I need to set up this month.
Right. Okay. So you get on my case about the word challenge.
In my defense, I traveled 17 hours yesterday. I traveled 8 hours the day before. I've fucking been flat out all this week trying to organize shit to go to this funeral that I was there for like less than half an hour. Oh, it has been a very tiring week. I'm barely awake now.
It's been one of those weeks. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have a new competition up with a selection of 3 games that the patrons can vote on, and then basically a winner will be drawn out at the end of the month, and you win whatever wins the poll.
Yep.
The higher tiers get more entries. So tier 1 gets 1 entry, tier 2 gets 2, tier 3 gets 3. Pretty basic stuff. But if you want to support us on Patreon, we would greatly appreciate it. You can find us at patreon.com/hallofgamers.
Yep. Discord.
Yes. So we've also got our Discord, discord.io/hallofgamers. You want to come have a chat with us. It's also where we do our word challenge. And we do questions. We chat about stuff. It's been picking up quite recently. Actually, we've got a lot of new members, a lot of chat going on, some boosting sessions happening.
Some bots.
Some new bots. Yep. Cameron's been fucking around with that. It's been great. So if you want to come and hang out, that's basically the best place to get in contact with us and have a chat with us and find out what's going on with the show. We post whenever we're going live, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, if you want to like randomly just look, if you have a Discord server that you self-moderate, that you know that you can't swear in, and you want to let off some steam, just come into ours and just yell shit at the top of your lungs. Let that stress be relieved.
Exactly.
What else have we done? I want to quickly talk about the bots because I quite like the bots. So we have an account called HogPod, or one word. Add it on TA if you want to have your completed and starter games come up on the feed. Matt doesn't really care, but I reckon it's nice to see what people are starting just to have that healthy go.
Starting is the interesting one. Completing I get, but starting but hey, not my bot.
What? It's like, fine. If everybody's jumping on something, it's like, maybe I should go back to it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's fair. You want to be part of the zeitgeist.
Like, to me this year, it's just like, I want to go back to those ones that I've missed. I want to get them done. So there's that. There's the give me a game pass kind of game, or give me a game if you want to do something that's heavy and hard, or if you want to do something that's just in Game Pass. Get a bot to roll the dice for you, pick a game out for you, and essentially just, we'll just bully you into give
you an excuse to go and get the game done. Yeah. We were going to do that for Brad, but we'll wait till he's on the show.
Yeah. What else is there? And there should be a welcomer bot now that actually says hello to people, but I'm still working it out.
So yeah, we'll see some changes on there, some new stuff. Look forward to it.
And if there's anything you want to recommend, let me know too.
And that kind of brings us towards the end of the show. As we said, we do the show live every week on Twitch. Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to do it. If somehow you missed it at the top of the show, you come hang out with us, ask questions. We had a lot of good chat interaction this episode. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to get in contact with us other ways, you can email us, hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com or at hallofgamerspod on Twitter. And you can help us out in other ways by subscribing to us on your platform of choice, leaving us a review, telling your friends, retweeting our stuff. Really, like, word of mouth is such a big thing for us. Bringing it up in boosting sessions really, really helps us sort of get out there and grow the show.
And I mean, even if you want us to just, invite us to a party sometime. I know Matt absolutely hates it, but
I don't absolutely hate it. I just tend, like, gaming tends to be my time rather than interacting with people. But I'm not a social creature.
I'm making him sociable. It's
yes,
fine.
Exactly right. I'm not social by nature, as everyone knows. So I'm being dragged kicking and screaming. But I do enjoy talking to people in the community and that sort of stuff as well. Because I love talking about video games. That's why we do this show.
Unless you have a higher gamer score than him, then he'll see
in which case you just get immediately blocked. Cameron, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me under the tag Shadowless Edge, pretty much on TA, on Twitter, pretty much anywhere. Or you can just find me under Cameron.
Just Cameron. Just Cameron. Search it out in the ether. One of the Camerons out there is your Cameron.
I mean, look, if you just yell out Cameron, like, somebody nice is bound to come your way.
I highly doubt that, but hey, if you want to get in contact with me, I am Neomaster on True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord, and everywhere else where it matters. You can contact me if you like. But yeah, like I said, I'm massively antisocial. So don't take it personally if I take a while to reply. I'm just trying to formulate the best possible conversation in my head before I say it.
And if you buy him Elden Ring, he'll love you.
I will actually. That's true. My birthday is coming up next month, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, thank you, Cameron, for joining me this week.
Yeah,
it was a good show. Nice sort of chill. And thank you, Charlotte, for not necessarily moderating, but also just coming to hang out this week, and for just being a wonderful human being who's going to edit the podcast. Well, to help quality assure, so I can edit the podcast afterwards.
And thank you to everybody else in the chat for just dropping by and saying good day. We always do appreciate it. Yeah, like I've said before, we love our community. We love hanging out with you guys, and we love absolutely just taking the piss of everything Xbox.
I love how there was just the two of us. We didn't even do a guest interview this week, and we still ran for 2 fucking hours. Unbelievable.
Hey, I added every
Yeah, it's true. You literally added every news story that's ever happened. But it is what it is. Anyway, that brings us to the end of episode 25. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.